So today we'll be going over log analysis, and I've been really thinking a lot about how these meetings go, and I've been thinking about how to make them more valuable for you guys and for the club as a whole. And I've decided that the way we can do that is by making it more interactive. Don't worry, that doesn't mean that you have to say anything. It just means that we're going to be doing a lot more workshopping today and a lot less presentation today. So that's some pros, and I would say mostly pros and not many cons for that, because the pros are that you guys get to practice and get mentored by people who mostly know what they're doing. I have the answer sheet, so I can help you with all this stuff. So today we have a challenge we're going to be working on. It's a log that's dumped from a service, and you have to figure all that stuff out. And I'll show you some command line utilities that you can use to work on that type of stuff. And then as well, the point of the workshop is to introduce you to those tools, have you experiment with them a little bit, and then I'll just explain to you how to use them and what utilities to use, what command line options to use, all that stuff. I'll give you the answers. Then, once you're done with that, I'll release 3 logs as challenges for you guys to play with later on, all that kind of stuff. And then those 3 logs have 18 questions total for you to answer. And the first log of the challenge has 5 questions worth 10 points each. Or maybe it's 6. I don't know. You'll see. The second one has 6 questions worth 20 points each, and the third log has 7 questions worth 30 points each. So there's a beefy amount of points to earn today from all these challenges. So practice up. Hopefully you learn some wonderful skills. I'm going to share my screen now so you can see the presentation. It's a short one, but it's got everything, not everything, but it's got some of the stuff we need to know in it. Okay, so if you can't see that, let me know in the stream chat, and I'll just proceed. So like I said, log analysis. What's a log? You may ask yourself, what the heck does lumber have to do with this? Well, I asked myself the same question. I have no idea why they named it logs. So if anyone has the answer as to why data logs are called logs at all, please put that in the stream chat so that I can know the answer to that. So basically, a log is a systematic form of recording unique events during software or system runtime. It can log all kinds of things. Usually, logs have determined metrics that are recorded when certain events occur. So that's extremely generic. That's as much as I could boil it down to, but it's basically like while a system is running, while a piece of software is running, certain metrics are recorded into files in a systematic way so that developers or system administrators can come back later on and look through that stuff to figure out what's going on. So what's in a log? Like we said, they were important metrics. Well, you're probably wondering what kind of metrics are those, right? It really depends on what the log is being used for. So logs can be used for friggin' everything. Networking, software, systems. I'm sure there's many categories I'm not even mentioning, but the point is not to cover all the bases. The point is to introduce you to this. So the metrics that can be included in logs include like IP addresses, ports, protocols, MAC addresses, URLs, warnings, debugging information, network events, directory events, timestamps. As you play with the different operating systems that you have at your disposal, you'll be introduced to the different utilities that log things, and eventually you'll find that those utilities are super useful, as dry as they may be. So why should I care, right? Why should I care that a log exists? Why should I have to parse through a log? Why is that even interesting? Why is that even fun? Well, I'll be honest, sometimes it's not very fun to parse through a log, but it can be interesting. And most importantly, you should care because a log can contain critical clues that can help an attacker infiltrate a system. But on the flip side, it can also contain critical clues as to who's been attacking your system. And maybe not just who, but what they did and where they were and what kinds of things they left behind. It really, as the picture, that pretty picture I put in there kind of shows, it's the fingerprints, right? So from an attacker perspective, you can use system logs to boil down really important information like the IP addresses to help you enumerate a network, timestamps to help reveal operation windows, right? Software service names, software and service version numbers to help you figure out what's being used, how old it is, if it's out of date, and then from there you can look up the different vulnerabilities that those systems might have for exploitation. So ultimately, your ability to look in the right places can make or break your ability to crack a system, basically. So tools that we can use for log analysis, well, might even be a silly question to ask because you can use virtually anything you want as a utility for analyzing logs. You can use grep, which is command line utility, awk, sed. Those are all just basically find and replace tools. Common software include Excel, any text editor really with Control F functionality in it, and I'm sure I'm butchering that part, but that's honestly genuinely like how some people parse through logs is with just a text editor. I wouldn't recommend it. I feel like that's insane, but and then there's professional logging software that helps you analyze the different logs that a system is outputting. These things are pretty intense, and it's not as intuitive as something like a text editor or even Excel, or once you get into grep and awk and sed, these professional logging softwares can take some time to understand and can take a lot of time to even set up on your system. So if you're gonna look into those, which I do recommend, I hope you read the right sources online for those things. Okay, and like I said, short presentation, more workshop time. So we're going to be doing some workshop here. I'll be releasing the log file that we're going to look at, and I will let you guys take some time to open it up on your computer